yes, oh yes. I've got your peas right here.
Yes, you weeds without needs.
Weeds without needs.
Sprouts without doubts, and children of the lawn.
Yes, and children of the lawn.
That's right.
And here we go, and here we are, and boom.
And here we go again.
Here we go again. So we're not going to make that into a thing, are we?
No.
Okay, good.
We just did it though.
I'll tell you what it is like. It's like we speak this Esperanto, you know, it's
Toronto?
well, yeah.
What do you mean?
We have our own language.
Yeah.
Like those two guys on Meredith's show today, those guys that knew what each other, twins that knew what each other were thinking.
Yep.
You don't like those guys.
I didn't like this one.
Why? They seemed cool enough to me. They were getting the answers.
They were. I don't know. Sometimes,
People
they
just rub you the
rub
wrong
you
way.
The wrong way.
See what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, okay. But then there are days, Mama said there'd be days like this. Then there are days where we couldn't complete each other's sentence if we had a pencil. So it just goes like
That's
that.
when we're not in tune.
Not in sync.
Not in tune. I'm in tune.
But we're in sync now, man.
That's right.
We're all, now we're not going to the gloomy side, but we're all battened down.
That's right.
Battened down.
Are you listening, children of the lawn?
Yes.
No gloom.
No gloom till the roof flies off and the show ends abruptly. Whoa!
No,
It'll
it's
be like,
the hurricane.
wah!
It has not started here yet.
No, I
It's
know.
just some rain. The big occasion is tomorrow. Actually, somebody on one of the news channels said, on the Weather Channel, those people in Southwest Florida, I'd be sleeping in my safe place tonight. And I said to Steve, do we have to sleep like in the closet? And he said, I'm not sleeping in any closet.
I'm not sleeping in a freaking
I'm
closet.
either.
If I was going to sleep somewhere for safety, it would be in the control room because it's
I'm
got.
not sleeping in there either.
No, you're not.
We always said we want to go together.
No, well, yeah, but
So
not anytime soon.
no, but
I'm not so.
if it happens,
Believe me,
it
you'll know
happens.
what's going on.
Oh, I'm not worried about anything. But
We
Walmart.
probably won't see the dog for 2 or 3 days, but
What?
I said we probably won't see the dog for 2. He sees the rain and he associates that instantly with thunder, which
Sleeping in the bathtub. We don't know, Anton. We've been looking for Jim Cantori to see where he is. He
we
said, "Is
we
Jim
think he's
Cantori?"
riding up and down 75 trying to decide where to freak us
We haven't
out.
seen him all day, but we think he's sleeping, waiting. And we think, he's driving up and down I-75.
Trying to figure it out.
Is it going to go to Tampa? Is it going to go to Punta Gorda? Is it going to go to Fort Myers?
Let me give you a pearl of wisdom, kids. Until it's your time, you're invulnerable.
Well, Kitty now, who is in Detroit,
Bam!
her weathercaster was doing the weather on the beach in St. Petersburg.
Uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
let me tell you, we are watching the news today because that's all it is on every channel. And all of a sudden we see that our house is in the area that's under mandatory evacuation.
so we're not here. But we've never
Come
been
get
here.
me and make me leave, bitches.
Now, all right, explain this to me. The shelter, one of the shelters,
Yes.
is Dr. Larry's hospital, right?
No.
It's not Dr. Larry. Yes,
No,
it
it's
is.
the school. They said
No,
the
but
shelters were going, the hospitals were going to be running normally. That was the good news.
Oh, do they do that
Yeah,
again?
if you get hurt, you can go to the hospital. It's like,
Okay.
that's real good news. No, it's the
Oh, it's
high school.
it's on Plantation.
Yeah, it's 2 streets over
High
from
school,
us.
2 streets from here is the evacuation shelter.
Shelter.
So
How does that make any sense?
well, the truth
Well, you
is,
should get under a mattress.
that
You
would,
know
I'll
what?
tell you what, the mattress that we have would stop a lot of stuff.
Yep. If I hear a train coming, see now,
We
our
have train
master
tracks.
bath has like, we have a walk-in closet that's got a door. And then where the toilet and shower is, has a door. And then where it goes into our bedroom has a door. So we could get into the makeup area, the vanity with the mirror, and shut all 3 doors and not have any windows near us at all.
How's that?
So that's the plan, because it's right there next to the bedroom.
So I just, that doesn't, let me tell you what, if you're going to get killed in the bed, that's what, 15 feet away from that door? Why aren't you going to get killed in there? Because of the amazing plasterboard
I don't know,
that's.
Tim says your recording studio. Too much shit up
No,
high
no,
can
he,
fall
but,
down on you in
well,
there.
no, not in the live room. He's talking in the control room, because the control room has a cinder block wall,
Oh,
and then
that's true.
everything else is an interior wall. So.
Okay, well, we'll figure that one out, but I
You
don't
know
wanna
what?
go that far down the hall to the control room. I'd rather just go right next to the
Maybe we
bed.
could get you a skateboard.
And Remy, we can't get him from from under the bed when it's raining and thundering.
He just won't come out.
He goes so deep under, and it's like one of those California kings, you can't reach him.
You can't get to him.
So I said to Steve, what are we gonna do if we hear
Throw-
like a train coming?
We'll just tie a rope around him before we go
Right.
to bed.
So I said, well, let's get a rope and put it next to the bed. And then Steve went, I'm not putting a rope around him. I'm like, well, how are you gonna get him?
Well, I can get him. He actually listens to me, sweetheart.
Yeah, right.
What?
Yeah, right.
Oh, don't even go there. Come on, that's not even close to fair. You're going to
Okay.
tell me that I don't have that dog well trained?
Yes, you do.
Not brutally trained, but when it's time to do what we have to
Tell them
do.
how smart Remy is.
Well,
Dawn Ranke, who is sometimes one of the children of the lawn, but she has to work a lot. But you guys know who Dawn is, I think. She sent Remy a birthday present. And it was these, I don't know, bacon cheddar sticks
just
in a
bacon.
bag, and so I opened them up and put them next to the bed. And so I say to Remy, you want a chicken stick? I just call it a chicken stick. So Steve took Remy into the bedroom today and said, do you want one of Mama's chicken sticks? And he ran over to where they were and
Well, I
looked
mean,
at
okay,
them.
that's,
He knows what the chicken sticks are. That's very smart.
well, it's
'Cause they're really
association.
bacon and cheese.
It's kind of like shake. When I get him to shake after when he's wet, I get him to shake off.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, our guest will be here in 2 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
Let's say a little bit about our guest.
Yeah.
Alex Crane. Oh, Kane. I'm sorry. I saw Keith Crane. Hi, Keith.
He's crazy. Is Keith here?
Well, he's like peering in. He's not saying
Okay.
hello to anybody.
That's
So
all right.
he's
Don't
probably
say hello.
watching. When you see somebody come in and they don't say hello, they just want to watch. Okay, so anyway, Alex Kane is the guitar player he was in Enough's Enough and in Stars with
Yeah,
our
with
good old
Joe
buddy
X Doobie.
Joe X Doobie.
But he, it says in that he wrote for Robin, and I'm wondering.
Okay, Tim, Steve.
Oh no.
Please, Steve, I can't afford to lose you.
Oh wow, man.
Okay, you're getting close.
Yeah, that's getting creepy now. Take it easy.
Yep.
Take it easy. We're fine. Everybody's fine. Just don't get nuts now. Let's go crazy. Let's get nuts. How would you know, Tim?
That's right, Tim. No, don't ask him that.
No, I don't.
He'll
I'm not
gloom.
asking him.
He'll get even gloomier.
Don't worry about it. Like I said, till it's your time. So,
Gail just doesn't want to lose the power. Us either, but we are prepared.
yeah, we're prepared. We
went to
call
Walmart
it
today.
we
They
call
called
it glamping
Glamping, that's right.
because you have the phone,
We have
no
a-
problem, and if if you're lucky enough to have the internet, well, that's amazing because chances are, if you lose the power, you lose the net. So we fire up a generator, and we plug in the refrigerator, and we have a window unit in the bedrooms, like the auxiliary, because we have central air, but you don't want to do that for the whole house if you don't, so we have that. Powers the TV, a DVD player, and what, a lamp? What else do we run off the thing? Charge our phones? What else do you need?
That's about it. TV, refrigerator,
Mm-hmm.
a lamp.
And we've got that wireless phone stuff, so I just go on YouTube and get all that stuff. So we're, well.
Well, Kitty says there's a restaurant in Tampa and they're not evacuating. They said they never do. The spirit protects them. They've
The
been
what?
through
Oh, Tampa.
spirit.
They're way into
Voodoo.
not voodoo. It's not. No, it's not voodoo. And it's where's the place that I ate with Larry? Ybor City.
Whoa, that's haunted, that one.
Yeah, but it's a cool place. And Larry knew all about it. We went up there.
Larry's from Florida.
Yeah, but well, kinda. But he's not.
What do you mean, kinda?
We went all the way up there to do the radio thing with
Isn't
Xander.
Larry from Florida?
Yeah, he's from, well, kinda. Chicago, by way of Chicago.
How long did he live in Chicago?
I don't know. What am I doing? Is this biography? Go ask Wikipedia.
I don't know. I know he went to the University of.
Yeah, because he wears the gator scrubs.
That's right. So what's that? Miami.
Think about that. I'm guessing that.
Gail, Kitty, she wishes she remembered the name of the restaurant. I wouldn't go there, even if it was a friendly spirit.
No.
They can follow you home,
Yeah, they can. Look at this. I don't know if you noticed. Angus got himself hold of a pretty clever little app there, so you guys can expect to see some fantastic cinematic genius.
Hey man, he's in it.
And some stuff from Angus too. No, this is all good. This is all good. No, you do a nice job, Angus.
Okay, now Anton Jutner says his neighbor has a generic generator. Every time the power goes out here, it makes me jealous that all of his lights are on. That used to be us in New York. Our neighbor had a snowblower. And every time there'd be a blizzard, he'd be out there blowing the snow. We'd be shoveling.
Shoveling, man, like till you get that burning in your throat,
Blowing the snow.
And this guy's just out there, and you see these plumes of snow, and man, we would get pissed. And
So
then
I feel you, Anton.
to compound that, we were on the side of a hill. I mean, we were on the side of a mountain.
Yeah.
On a hill, just like a birdhouse or a tree house. And so we had to shovel out the driveway, right? And we could throw it over the wall because there was a wall around us, it doesn't really matter. But the point of it is I would shovel out the whole driveway, get the car ready to go. And driving a car back there in those days was like a video game in the snow. And as soon as I would get it dug out, zoo, the plow comes by and puts the heaviest, wettest, and then, eventually I think we either gave up or whatever. Did you ever drive did you ever make it up the hill?
Don't you remember I had to once and I was
That's what I was trying to remember.
And the house where you turn, that yellow house where it had the rhododendrons, I put on the brakes because I was gonna getting ready to run into it, and when I put on the brakes it was launching me like I was gonna plow into this house. And then I remember Steve had told me, take your foot off the brakes when you're doing that. I did it and it stopped me. But that was the only time I did it. I'm not doing that anymore.
Here we go, kids.
Oh, okay.
Party time.
This must be Alex Kane.
This would be him. Come in. Oh, they can't hear that, right?
No.
Who?
Yeah.
Hey, how you doing, bud?
Good, man. How are you?
Pretty good. I read your bio. Let me just preface anything by saying this. So when
Okay.
all right, a man who knows. Good. I like that. I can tell.
Absolutely knows. Sure.
I saw Xander in your bio.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be asking him all the questions.
This is, the idea of this is just it's us backstage, or us in the green room, or us on the bus, or us in the hotel. It's just a conversation. You can ask as many questions as you want. That's the idea. I never wanted it to be an interview show. It's that's too, this is two guys talking shop.
Yeah. I'd had remember when he did the solo album in the early '90s, I believe it was.
Yeah, yeah.
I'd already moved to LA with my band, and I'm from Chicago, so I've been Cheap
Oh,
Trick
so
guy.
you.
From I was 12 when In Color came out. You know what I mean? So
Okay.
it was like hormones, rock and roll, Chicago boys, doing it different than anybody had done it before. So, I mean, once that flare went up into the sky, you know, so anyway, I moved out to LA once Cheap Trick had ruined my life and made me decide to be a musician. And I was playing with a different guy before Life, Sex, and Death. And then we had a meeting at Interscope, and that's where they told me, hey, you know, we're looking for songs for Robin's album and blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, you know, I was already kind of thinking, like, which of the tunes that I wrote for this guy can I just give to Robin?
Yeah, I believe me, been there, and that's cool. Did you get on the record? I'm hoping you did.
No, I did not. It made it to the final cut, but he made more of a pop album, and I had I'm a rock and roll guy, so I'd given him a little more, you know, like the heavier side of Cheap Trick rather than the more power pop side of Cheap Trick.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that his album was aimed at more of like a mainstream power pop, which, I mean, I'm from Chicago. I fucking love power pop. I get it. You know what I mean? But,
Sure.
you know, when you're, I don't know, I probably was like 25 or something at the time. And all you know is, you know, and I hadn't sort of refined my skill set enough to be able to then sort of embrace power pop. Which incidentally, I do think that Stars were one of the greatest power pop bands of ever.
Yeah, man.
Cherry Baby, Sing It, Shout It. Are you familiar with like the Stars?
Sure. I mean, I've known Doob a while now, so yeah. No, I'm pretty schooled.
Yeah, we played.
He's all them fucking guys, man. They're like, they're all so different from each other, you know, but they're all completely damaged in the most awesome way, right? Because as it turns out, stable, balanced people don't make good art. They don't, you know what I mean? They don't have to
make art. They steal it and counterfeit it.
They figure out ways to make money off of our damage.
Exactly right.
But and I was a huge Stars fan because, you know, that was the first record came out when I was 11, so I'd already gotten Kiss Alive and Destroyer, and I was just starting to get into Aerosmith and stuff. And you know, when you're little, like if all you've got under your belt is 12 years, 2 years is a significant portion of
Big
those
time.
12 years. So right, so then like when the time between like 12 and 14, while you think like, oh, it's only 2 years, I'm 57 now, so if I think back to 55, I'm like, well, I'm not really evolving anymore.
Right.
But you know, so in those in those times when relative to your time on Earth, you know, a year is a significant fraction of it. But so anyway, so you know, I'd gotten into Kiss. A year went by, they hadn't released. I think maybe they put out Destroyer, but there was like that gap in between, which is right where Stars fell, and I ran out and I bought that first album, and it was absolutely another life-changing event. Like those first 2 albums for me were as good as anything. As good as anything.
It's funny because you really put the cap on it. You know, I don't do the age thing really unless we happen to go there. It doesn't bother me. I'm not worried about age one way or the other. But for me, and we were talking about this the other night, I get a real good perspective on somebody's musical view by when their 12 to 14 happened. And
absolutely.
And I remember, because I'm a bit older than you are, I've got, you know, more time on the planet. And my entry into it dictated a whole bunch of things. And it's funny because I became friends and worked with a lot of the people that I used to listen to on the radio under my pillow. You know what I mean? And
Totally.
it's such an amazing game of tag. You know what I mean? It goes, when I was a kid, I was a Rascals fan, just a, all the way back to the Young Rascals. And so it was everything about that, and the Hammond and the drums. I mean, Dino was amazing. And now I'm talking to Gene almost every day, Gene Cornish. We've become friends for decades now. And it's just such this weird balance. So it's got to be the same for you.
It's, well, that you say that actually definitely triggers a neurosynapse, because when I think, I mean, it's sort of like a twofold thing. First of all, I caught the bug, right, rock and roll, well before I could play anything, obviously, you know what I mean? But I was an avid, diligent, disciplined air guitar practitioner. So, I would put on Cheap Trick 1, I would put on Kiss Alive, I would put on Sparks, I would put on unbelievable band. To this day, still ahead of their time.
Yeah.
They're like the New York Dolls that didn't all die.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I'm being glib about it, but I mean, I'm a big New York Dolls fan. So I don't mean that in any way being dismissive. It's just,
you know what, if real Dolls fans would understand that night and day. So
if we can't make fun of our dead friends, who can?
Right. Believe me, I'm having some pretty good fun with a dead friend of mine recently. So I'm with
as
you.
long as it's not sexual, bro. That's where I do.
No, man, no. See, no. He's in an ashtray, so there's no fear of that.
Yeah, I would actually like that. I probably like. I think I would like to be strewn into an ashtray. Just, you know what I mean? So, or like Keith Richards did with his dad, where he smoked them, and only Keith, you know what I mean? And that's the other thing, like, we sort of briefly touched on the age thing, and this is a tangential statement, but Mick Jagger's fucking 80 years old.
Really?
Wow, man, that blows my mind.
Keith snorted his father's ashes.
Well,
yes, no, you're right. She's right. She's right. You're right. So then I want to be smoked.
Yeah, okay, and hey, I'm with you. Trust me, that it's a weird thing. That is, I mean, cremation is a weird thing.
Yeah.
I had never seen it happen before. Not that I was in there, stoking the grill or anything. But,
hey, you got a lighter?
This one's out. But when they, it's a closed casket thing, and in England, it's like really, it's just extra weird just because it's England. And there it is, it's right there, and if you're in the front row, which we were in the front row, and they're playing the music and they're saying the stuff, and the music ends and another piece of music starts and the little curtains open.
Yeah. And you can see the flames.
And you can see, you know what's in there.
You can see the flames.
And the thing starts going in, and the music is
like
playing,
a little conveyor belt.
and the curtains close, and see you later.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
Wow, it was the most, it's kind of shocking too.
Well, I actually, I have I don't have the direct experience of seeing it, but my mom, who's needless to say older than me, she's in her 80s now. Part of the reason that I'm
Jagger's age.
Yeah, well, that's what I keep telling her. No bullshit, dude. Seriously, I'm like, Mom, you're 6 years younger than Mick Jagger. Let's go for a walk. Come on. Start me up. But part of the reason that I'm in Phoenix right now, and that I'm sort of being a little more select as to the touring work that I take, she lost her husband to cancer after 3 years fighting it. and he and I were not friends at all. I'll just say that. So there's no, I mean, you know, for my mom liked him, so I tolerated him, and he was
We
kind
get
of
it, man. We get it. No,
right.
no,
Okay.
we get it.
So anyway, so I got the, you know, I got my agent appropriate dancer girlfriend in LA. I'm in like 70 different bands. I'm on tour all the time. So like a relationship that lasts 5 years, they've only really seen me for 2 because I'm always gone. So it takes them that much longer to realize when I say, this is how, who, and what I am. I don't feel there's anything broken. This is what it is. Okay.
You got to be who you are.
And then, of course, the wrong girl hears, oh, I can fix that. And I'm always, up until recently, actually, I've been, you know, because none of the relationship have lasted, but, you know, they're fun and, you know, and whatever and all of that stuff. But I'm gone all the time previously, pre-pandemic. So you don't really get to find out that I was deadly serious when you're not going to change me. I've been playing guitars longer than you've been alive. Okay. And when I put the guitar in the case, it doesn't complain if I play another guitar, and it stops making noise once it's in the case. And you know what I mean? And it's a self-perpetuating inspiration machine. You know, you get out of it what you put into it. So anyway, so I had the whole thing, and it was all great. And I'm always on tour and stuff, living for my whims, you know what I mean? In 2019. And then one night I checked my voice messages, which I do infrequently, and there's the distressed message from mom. At this point, 79 years old, in tears. I can't take it anymore. I'm losing it. I told my girlfriend, I go, hey, I got to go out to Phoenix right now. Mom's coming apart. I got to go do this. Unfortunately for the relationship, she immediately viewed that as a threat. And my litmus was, whoa, this guy's actually standing up for his mom. He's driving to Phoenix in the middle of the night to make sure that she's not in trouble. So I would think, as far as estimating my character, I would have passed that test. You know what I mean? Because I did what was the right thing, rather than like, well, I'm just going to sit here and smoke a joint and pretend I didn't get the call or whatever. So I do the thing. I drive out there, and, you know, and so then now I'm helping out and blah, 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 blah. He's in hospice. I know he's going to go. Mom doesn't, you know what I mean? So, but anyway, then I realized, so he passes. Mom's got a 16, 15, or 13 at the time year old dog who's in the other room. She got Alzheimer's now, so she can't take care of him. So he's my best buddy. But the thing is, if I leave for more than 2 weeks, I might as well just shoot him now and get it over with, because these guys can't live without me. So the patience and the lack of selfishness that I've been forced to begin to learn has been a huge learning curve. And it's also taught me so many things that I always thought were liabilities. You know what I mean? You know, dude, in our line of work, it's like, oh, you didn't learn the songs? That's fine. Take your time. We'll wait. You know, like patience is a cardinal sin in rock and roll, where it's like, show up, be on time, know your fucking shit. If we can run through these songs one time, that's all the better. I wrote them 20 years ago. I don't need to do them for 5 hours. Bring your A game. Okay. And then you work from there. That's how, you know, the rock and roll thing works. So I always viewed that patience was for people that will live forever. Unfortunately, I have not met one that will. You know what I mean? But as far as, you know, I'm dealing with what's 16 times 7, 70, so 112 or whatever he is year old dog, and an 83-year-old mom, and you know, and I'm learning to serve. To serve.
You know, you were talking about girls, and now you know, we touched on the dog. You know how you know how you can tell a dog is man's best friend? Take the dog and the girlfriend, lock them both in the trunk of the car for 5 minutes, and see which one's happy to see you when you open it up.
Well, I took that challenge.
I tried that. I tried
You
that.
tried it.
I'm single, but I have way more time with the dog.
I hear you. I hear you.
Because he was like, "Oh, you're back," and I was like, "I know who's staying."
Well, I saw him come into the. Who is that? What's the name?
The
Oh,
dog.
Lucky Bear, hang on. He is my pride and joy. I don't want to
Okay.
bore your audience with my
Yeah, I saw him go by.
effect. Well, this little
Oh,
guy
you
here,
check him out.
he's 16
Hey,
years old.
Bear.
He doesn't
Oh.
listen to me though. That's the difference between him and my ex. Well, no, neither do. Hey, let's say
Maybe
hi to
part of
him.
Oh,
hearing.
he's nice.
Oh, he's my best buddy, and he doesn't hear that well, and he's kind of
Yeah.
blind. And
Oh no, you
whatever.
gotta take care of him,
Yeah, we
man.
had a dog that lived to
Wow.
be 15.
Yeah, well, I live in Florida because of a dog, dude.
That's right.
I live in Phoenix largely because of a dog.
There you
Okay.
Let me
go.
help
so
him
there you
sit down.
go.
Give me 1 second. I don't.
No, go ahead, man. That's cool. Do what you
Yeah.
gotta do.
His hips don't really work that well.
Yeah, believe me, I know. I've been there.
Yep,
We had an Irish Wolfhound mix that, the big dogs like that don't usually live 10, 11 years old. This dude was 14 years old, and we lived on the side of a mountain in New York, and so he had to climb up stuff to get to his place to go to the bathroom, and he kept falling back. So
And you had to climb in,
Yeah.
carry him up the stairs
yeah,
every night to
at night,
bed.
because the bedroom was upstairs. I had to carry him. I mean, this is a 100+ pound dog.
Yep.
Whoa.
And his vet, who's still a friend of mine, one of my best friends to this day, said, he needs hydrotherapy. Well, that's not so easy in the winter in New York. So we said,
Hydrotherapy is what?
Swimming.
it's not so easy to do hydrotherapy
What is it though?
in New York. Oh, it's to keep
Swimming.
them swimming.
Oh,
Like,
swim. Okay.
does yours like to swim? You're in Arizona, man.
Well, that's why I ask, because I have him a private masseuse that comes by. I live like a pauper, so he may die like a king, basically. But I don't mind, because I don't have forever to spoil him. And frankly, I mean, you seem very nice and I like you, but generally speaking, I would trade 10 people for the life of one dog. I really
believe
would.
me. It's,
Yeah.
you don't even want to go. I'm telling you, we left New York on a whim in a heartbeat. We came down to Florida.
Didn't know
We
anybody
rented a
there.
house for a month on an island and drove around to try to figure out where we were going to go. And we found a nice, beautiful house to rent.
No steps.
No steps, no nothing.
Cool.
Oh,
He's-
for the guy, for the bear. Okay.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
dog,
yeah,
yeah.
for Cody.
Cody.
And we had this down here. Everything's marine. Everybody's on boats in Florida. So that you go to the marine store where you buy the stuff for your boat, and they have these life vests for dogs.
Dogs, I know. I've been looking at them.
So I would just, hold them in place. There's a handle, little
Yeah.
nylon handle in the back, and he'd sit there going. And man, if you can get your guy to do that, wow!
He walked till the day he died.
walked till his last day, and he lived to be 15.
And he died naturally.
With the hydrotherapy, because he's got bad hips and all of that.
Yeah,
stuff.
but that's the whole point. What happens?
Yeah.
Is the hips give him trouble. Ours had degenerative myelopathy, the big one, and so basically, and I saw him. He shuffles like this. I see him shuffling his back legs. It's not the same. Because that happens to him and he doesn't move, he's going to atrophy the muscles. So one thing feeds into the other. But if you put him in the water, his natural thing is to try to swim. And I'm telling you,
There's no impact.
yeah,
on-
there's
there's
no
no-
impact. He's weightless, but his instinct is to do this, and that's
Because my preferential workout is swimming, and the place that I'm at, we got a little pool here, and everybody here, everybody that I live with, I mean, I'm in Phoenix, right? And before I ended up, like, Mom, there was no way she could stay in the house anymore, You know what I mean? Even if I was there, and like grown ass men definitely don't be needing to living with their mom. That just, I just came out to help her out through this, when her husband died. Then the pandemic hit, and I'm like, well, I can't even fucking leave the house now.
Yeah,
Anyway.
but look at it with the right, with the right gel over the lamp, man. I mean, if it had to happen at any time, would you want it to happen when there's abundance of work and holy shit, what am I going to do now? If I don't do my work, I can't afford to do this, and if I do this, I can't, So
Yeah, no, you're that dude. That's a point that I think I'll probably thank you for forever. Actually, that you made that.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think, I feel that very strongly. And if you can put a positive spin on any situation and try to find one glowing bit of good in it, I mean, and the best thing for that sometimes is reflection. Think about how many times you thought you were fucked and holy shit, you made it out. Why should it be any different going forward? If you can imagine the worst, you can imagine the best. You have to give equal time to both parties.
And Robin Zander takes his dogs everywhere.
Oh yeah, Xander, man.
Just for that, I'm gonna get his tattoo next to Rick's now.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, it's Xander is one of a kind, man, and he is. He's got. Yeah, we were. Somebody auctioned us as a, to have lunch with us as a. Because we had the band together, the Xander band together.
Yep.
We would have lunch with Robin Xander and me, and however they do that in Palm Beach. So it's very, this whole
Is
thing.
he a Florida guy now?
Yeah, been for years and years,
Okay.
And rightly so, man. I mean, it's a cool place to hang. But he we were a prize, and he brought Daisy and Buddha, both dogs,
and his wife.
and
She gets third billing now.
My daughter was shopping, but he brought the dogs.
he
to
brought
lunch.
we brought, didn't we bring
brought
Beanie?
Yeah.
So we brought ours to lunch. Yeah, it was another one. But man.
When you have you guys toured?
Oh yeah, for years.
And I mean, the dogs go in the tour bus or what?
No. We did mostly fly dates. We did.
Okay, so you're gone for like 3 days or whatever.
Yeah. We did a week at most, because the thing about Xander is, we're both the same age, and we were probably in our late 50s, maybe 58, 59. And that's the point where if you're the front man for Cheap Trick or you're the drummer for anybody, you better start thinking about keeping those gears oiled. Otherwise, guess what happens? And
exactly where I'm at. Where I'm at.
You just got to push, man. You just go uphill, and there's another gear, and you'll hit it. And then it's all of a sudden, it's where the young guy with all the drive meets the experienced guy with all the know-how, and it's the best you playing that you could ever want to be. If you just have to let it out. I mean, I'm not.
Are you saying that comes? So because I mean, I literally feel exactly what you're describing. Where Rick Nielsen's my hero. Okay, I jump around like. People have said, like fans have said, you're our generation's Rick Nielsen. And I'm like, well, that's all I ever wanted. So, of course I should have instead thought like, oh, maybe $10 million instead. But, but before I forget, when you were saying about like all of the musicians that you were like, that were your air guitar or air drum guys, when you were a younger guy, literally everyone that I had played air guitar to, except for Piper. I never worked with Piper, but I worked with Rick Nielsen. I produced some tracks for him for a record we made for Hollywood Records. I wrote for Robin's Interscope album. As a matter of fact, you probably wouldn't know this band, but I was the second guitar player in a band from Chicago called Holland. Okay. Michelangelo Badio with the
Yes, I know that. Yeah, because I know Michael because he's a Dean artist, and I'm a, and I did a commemorative bass with Dean, and I a D drum guy, which is their drum company.
Oh, I didn't know that was their drum. Oh,
Oh
D
yeah,
drum.
yeah. It
D for
used to
D.
be. I mean, they spent 5 years just trying not to be that cheesy electronic thing. They bought this company. They make such beautiful gear. It's almost like boutique gear.
And
But
they're in Florida too.
yeah, they're in Florida too. So
Because
anyway,
Dean was Chicago originally.
when
Yeah.
Dean, what was his name? Not Zelensky.
Zelensky.
Is it Zelensky? Man,
Yeah. Then Elliot
talk about
Rubin's just about
synapse
it.
firing.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
Except you
Elliot
don't
Rubin.
want people to know, brother, because then they're going to start expecting clarity forever. So
God.
one of the things, no, well, you're a drummer, so they would.
Yeah, so I got a pass. I got a little laminate. Oh, wait a minute, I dropped it.
But I used to play air guitar before I started playing to Ramones albums, right? And literally I've worked with every single living Ramone, and I'm going to do the CJ Ramone. Yeah, all of them.
That's
Marky,
cool.
Richie, CJ. I'm going to do CJ Ramone's farewell tour next year.
Wow.
Contingent on my fur-bearing and less fur-bearing family. I mean, that does factor in. But like CJ isn't going to go on tour for 6 months. You know what I mean? It's going to be like, okay, we're going to do a couple of weeks, and then a couple of weeks, and then I'm okay. And I'm very, 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 very fortunate where I stopped dating girls and I dated a woman now.
Wow, what a concept. I married a girl who turned into a woman.
Did I?
Yeah, no, almost. You're on the way. Couple of more lessons. It's going to be fine.
Yeah, and we've been married 38 years.
Yeah, that's Lori. In case I didn't introduce her,
So you, nice to meet you, Lori. Is it
Lori? Yeah.
Lori? My very first girlfriend's name was Lori. So I have PTSD right now. I have to end this.
Okay. Well, let me tell you what. Deservedly so.
Right.
Yeah.
There
No
was I forget, there was one name that, like, I dated a couple of girls with the same name. I'm sure that it is like me blocking that name off, but they were all fucking crazy. Every single one with that name. And I don't remember the name, but I really wish I did, just like as a warning sign in the future. But it wasn't Lori,
Lisa?
by the way.
Yeah, was it Lisa?
It could have been.
Don't name your daughter
yeah,
Lisa.
we always say, because we know a lot of crazy
Yeah, we know some
Lisas.
crazy ass Lisas.
And we always say, don't name your daughter Lisa.
Fortunately, so far I've managed to avoid the only thing I've really been responsible about, to be honest, is avoiding responsibility. Like I was saying before, I just lived my life for me, so I don't have any kids that I do or don't know about.
Us either.
We
Us,
don't
us,
either.
us either. By choice. My producer of all things but children.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Gotcha. And you know what? I mean, not to bum anybody that's got kids out, and like a lot of my friends, everybody's like waited a little bit. Like if you're a musician, you're not. You put it off until like you end up in Bon Jovi or whatever when you're in your 50s, But so a bunch of my friends that are around my age have started having kids, and I'm like, oh man, you don't want to know what this place is going to look like 30 years from now.
Well, you know what? It's not. I think that, to be fair, I mean, we never had kids. We never wanted kids.
No, neither
we
one of
we
us. We
practiced
wanted
like we
dogs.
still practice, but we never. It just wasn't. We couldn't be.
Are you getting any better at it though?
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Hell, yeah. We're starting to. We have to increase our insurance now. Okay?
You know what? Straight up, and I don't give a shit who fucking hears this, but nowadays, because like when you're 18, you're like, oh my God, this is amazing. What is this thing I've finally partaken in, or 16 in my case, but so then you do notice, like particularly post-pandemic, because I was always on the go, working out and everything, and gigs, and an hour and a half of sweating and cardio a night and everything like that. No bullshit. I gotta fucking do yoga before I go fuck nowadays.
You and Sting.
Well, and that, you know what? I didn't even think of that. And
Hey, I mean, come on, that's all right.
there's an argument for that, obviously, and he is because that dude's like in his 70s and he still has sex for 4 hours. I'm
Yeah.
like, first of all, I ain't got.
Yeah, you know why? Because he can't find his way to the bed. Where are you again?
Or I can't see. I get my hair.
It's me, Sting.
Oh,
Yeah, but look at fucking Mick Jagger, man. What he had he got I mean, it's creepy, but I mean, it's all like he needs the tax write-off. I get it. But like he got some Brazilian model pregnant like 3 years ago or whatever. Like not three, that would have been right before the pandemic. But, you know, like in the last decade, he had another kid, you know, and
Yeah, but is
Lotto.
that for the right reason? You know what I mean? And I'm not going to.
I don't think a tax write-off is any reason to have a child. No, but I mean,
no, but do you really know that?
maybe the woman
what I
wanted
mean-
a child.
Yeah, but I mean, Mick. I don't know. I have this thing of what fatherhood is, or should be, or was supposed to be.
well,
I'm from a divorced family. You know, my father left when I was young, so I don't have that classic Leave It to Beaver dynamic to draw on. And I could,
hey, you're a musician, bro. You didn't have to tell me.
there it is. There it is. I beat things with a stick for a living, and that's not too bad. So,
No.
hey, listen. I'll tell you what. We played with some of the greatest players in the world. We've been in some of the rarest of situations. The whole idea of this show was to try to, because nobody's in the dressing room. When the guy comes into the dressing room that's not supposed to be there, all the conversation shuts up. Zip.
Yeah.
And I think, I had a friend that I would take on legs of tours with me, just to kind of give him the look of things. And we'd be sitting somewhere and not even realizing that we're talking the talk. And my friend, I wouldn't call him a civilian, but he's not a musician, said, man, it just to listen to these conversations, it's so unbelievable. And I'm thinking to myself, what's he even talking about? Because you and I are just, if we're talking about a fret job or a blow job or whatever it is, I mean, it's what it is. But and we have our own speak because we live this life. That's the whole point of me doing this show was not to have Robin on, who I'm sure I could bring him up and say, hey, Robin, come on the show. I mean, I've had Buck Dharma on, and I've had but it's about
Unbelievable guitar player.
Yeah, great.
Unbelievable.
Chasm Sultan, who's been a friend for a million years, just sat in with Blue Oyster Cult for their 50th anniversary tour. So
We saw him playing bass with Blue Oyster
yeah, he was
Cult
playing bass with
years
them for a
ago,
while.
yeah.
But the whole point of it is the life that we live. I didn't even realize how weird it was, and I say this all the time, until I moved into this neighborhood where we've been for the past, whatever it is, almost 14 years. And there's nothing but civilians in here, doctors and money managers and...
nobody we want to be friends
nobody
with.
that, there's no bass players in here.
No.
That's... and... so
It's a different world.
it's a different world, and I never realized how bizarre how we lived was until I got a call from the owner of a jewelry store. I'm on the air.
Who used to do the show on
Yeah, who used to
Mondays.
do the show?
So
Yeah.
you think you would know.
You would think.
Yeah.
Well, okay, he'll have to,
All right, well, it's time for you
Yeah.
to ask
Oh,
me
yeah. So now,
questions.
all right. So like every good show, the Actors Studio, that thing where they talk to the guys.
Yes, but wait, I have to do a bit before you do that. If only
Okay.
let me see, because I would like to actually give everybody an insight as to what it's like to be backstage nowadays at a rock concert with the band. And so basically, and hopefully I'm not speaking out of turn. I don't want to be the musician giving the secrets away. But if you go to any, and you may attest to this, but basically the craziness that goes on backstage, the real insanity, I'm going to share that with everybody right now.
All right.
Okay.
That's it. It's just dudes on their phone.
Oh, that's what they do now? Oh, God.
Yeah. And tea, there's, that and tea, and it doesn't get.
It wasn't like that with Infosol.
I remember when it changed. A friend of mine was a front of house engineer for who is it? The sister, Natalie Cole.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
And
the sister?
yeah,
She's
well,
the daughter.
because the sister, because we knew her sister.
Oh, yeah.
Or the two sisters. Anyway, it doesn't matter. Anyway, he would come off a tour and he would say, check this app out and check this app out and look at this. And all he would do is he would do the show, so you know what that is. That's sound check to break down, and then back to the hotel or on the bus where you surf the app store for apps to keep yourself entertained. And it's like, wow, this is what it is. So what I started doing, and I just started doing this with Xander, is I got into drones, like little.
Oh, sure, yeah.
But I started bringing them on the road with me, and I would fly them around the stage and shit and scare the hell out of people.
Is there like a camera on that?
Not on this one. This one just flies around. It's got lights on it. But no, I have one that's about twice that size that has a camera on it.
So
and you put on
this is
freaking goggles. No.
Okay.
No, just, when we're killing time, when you got,
Oh, sound check. Somebody gets you.
Anyway, we can go on with this.
It'll be, I know. It'll be a 4-part episode.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I will. So anyway, like I said, when I wanted to do the show, I wanted it to have a format that was, different than everybody else, and not different, but this is cool. We're just hanging, party in my room.
Right. Yeah.
You've been to a party in my room, haven't you?
Because
I know
I didn't know it was okay to talk about it.
And
Well,
there's
no,
no
it's
texting going on.
Yeah, it's cool now. Yeah, there's no texting going on at
There
that
might be
party.
some strippers in there.
But yeah, oh well,
I will have dated them, I'm sure.
Trust me, I spent a week with her one night. But that was, anyway, so I came up with this very clever way of concluding the episode, because that's what it is. It's an episode, and it's to be continued at any time. I'm hoping that Angus told you about Free for All Fridays, because you are a shoo-in for Free for All Friday. Anybody who's ever been on the show is welcome to come in on Friday night, same time, same link. And we just talk about
We have people from all
we have
over.
people from all over the world coming in. Guys are backstage at Madison Square Garden setting up for this. Oh, it's a freaking trip, bro. And we could always use Arizona in the mix, so bring it. We got guys from Aruba. We have one the bass player from the Good Rats comes in from Antigua every Friday. So I'll make sure that Angus gets you the
And we
link.
have a guy in Costa Rica that comes.
Right. When we have a guy in Costa Rica,
showing us videos of sloths.
it's fun. So Friday nights, man. There's that.
Okay.
But now, you ready for the questions?
Yes.
I'm concerned, but yeah, let's go.
Okay. No, this is all right.
They're easy
this
and
is
fun.
good.
Now I did take a peek. Okay. So I do need to preface this by saying I had this Cheap Trick tattoo well before I knew you. And
Right.
Cheap Trick is my favorite band. So while several of my answers will be Cheap Trick oriented, it's not so much because of you, but because I can't get enough of Cheap Trick in my life. So
Well, let me give you some interesting Cheap Trickness. Okay.
okay, because I maintain I know more about Cheap Trick than even Bunny Carlos. But go on.
I'm sure you you probably do. This is kind of just did you know Robin's children's name?
I know there's a Taylor.
His son is Robin Taylor, and his daughter is Robin Saylor.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't
They're
know
all
that.
Robin Zander.
Oh yeah, so we have 3 Robin. You yell out
Except
Robin
for his
Zander.
first marriage. I was Holland and Ian.
Yeah, Holland and Ian are from the first marriage. But we had such a blast out on the road in that band, because it was just, we wanted to keep our chops up. And this is the thing that I'll tell you that you wouldn't find out any other way. Robin, when he warms up, He says, "Look, I got to go in another room because it's just too loud."
He goes into a room and screams like his
At the
limbs are
top
being.
of his freaking lungs, and I'm like, "What?"
Yeah, he does.
And man,
But
then
he
goes
sings amazing.
and sings his ass
he was
off.
singing
Does
like
he still
desperate-
smoke?
No.
No.
Because
No.
up until like, I mean, I don't know when he stopped, but he was smoking like, I would see him, like Rick's taking a solo or whatever, and then Robin would be off stage smoking a Marlboro Light. And I'm like,
Yeah,
this
when he-
fucking guy sings like fucking this and he's smoking?
Well, he had polyps removed, and that's what I think made the difference.
He's supposed to
'cause
join every
he,
now and
he
then.
was scared to death
Oh, how could he not be?
of the throat thing, man. So he
You know what's interesting? And again, I like Cheap Trick has literally gotten me through hard times in my life because they were everything. They were on the cover of Rolling Stone. They had the #2 album with Budokan right behind Thriller. And then the wheels came off the wagon in no time. And they went from playing 3 nights at the 15,000 seater to doing 3 nights at the 1,500 seater. Right. And so it was up and down, peak out, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, if this band that means so much to me, that has changed and influenced the literal course of my life, if they can put up with the swings and roundabouts of rock and roll, pull yourself up by your motherfucking bootstraps and get back out there and do your tattoo proud. Dude, this guy was 30 fucking years old before he got signed.
Mm-hmm.
And did you know? Speaking of Rick, did you know that he wrote a book based on John Entwistle's guitar collection called Bass Culture?
No.
Yeah, him and John were friends.
Oh yeah, they were great friends.
And so was Robin and John.
Yeah,
I
in
mean,
fact,
holy
we
shit.
considered Robin Zander when we formed the John Entwistle band, and we were talking about vocalists. 2 of the guys that we considered were Corey Glover and Robin Zander.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that John sent Zander some music, but it depends on which part of the trick flow you're in. If you're rolling, then you got to stay home. But
Yeah.
Let me tell you, a lot of our viewers are Cheap Trick fans.
Yeah,
And
huge Cheap Trick
Gail,
Hey guys, I'm part of the tribe.
okay, well, she says Robin hasn't smoked in 14 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Sue says
14,
Buddy
so
Carlos-
2005. But then still, like, he's like 67 or something like that now.
70.
70.
Robin's 70, so that means that Rick is pushing 80.
Yes, it does.
Rick is 10 years older than Robin.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
And Buddy Carlos, his real name is Brad Carlson.
Carlson, I knew that.
Rick
And
Carlson.
Bunny and I share a birthday. I'm June 12th. He's June 12th.
Ah.
He's left-handed. I'm left-handed. The other interesting twist in that labyrinth, Michelangelo Badio, the guy that I was 20. He was 32 and already was the king of shred. I came up with the Ramones and Cheap Trick, like I told you. I had to sit there for literally 12 hours a day all over again to learn these things that I hated playing. I didn't like that I had never liked that guitar playing. I liked shit where it's like, how the fuck did that guy land the plane? Hence Jeff Beck, hence Rory Gallagher, hence Rick Nielsen, you know what I mean? Where it's like,
Yeah, Risk.
Jimmy Page. Well, yeah, I fucking love you right now so much. But exactly, the risk, the not being afraid of like, fuck it, this is either going to be amazing or I'm going to look like a chump. But we can't forget that Keith Richards, up until 5 years ago, would fall over once a show. That's Keith Richards. You know what I'm saying? So taking the risk and rock and roll. I mean, you see bands now, and I'm not, which is sort of like, and I realize you want to get to your question, so I do apologize, but
Sorry, well, that's okay.
the guys from my generation, generally speaking, singers, okay? Singers, 55 to 60, whatever, like, the Molly Crews and in that sort of range there. Pretty much all of the guys that I grew up seeing or hearing or thinking, now that dude's great, they're fucking done now. If they were,
don't I know that?
but there's still Mick Jagger, and there's still Alice Cooper, and there's still Robin Zander, and there's still Steven fucking Tyler. There's still Iggy Pop. These dudes are all in their 10 years older than the bloated losers that were meant to, oh, we're going to replace Cheap Trick with our own amazingness. Well, I hate to fucking tell you this, motherfucker, but Cheap Trick is in the midst of yet another resurgence. They are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
And Robin is singing better than ever.
Yeah.
And exactly. And in the same way that no matter what you think of David Lee Roth, who I happen to think is a genius, and he created a persona that he could market that doesn't really reflect who he is. You know, he speaks like 7 languages, he's a 7th-degree black belt. He's reading, he's well spoken, he writes brilliantly, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Whether or not the what?
He's an artist.
He's an artist, exactly. Like his whole life is his canvas, right?
Right.
But in the same way, and David Lee Roth isn't as good a singer, and Eddie Van Halen's a guitar player. You know what, though? Name me one singer that isn't Mick Jagger or whatever, that could stand on stage next to Eddie Van Halen and not be invisible other than David Lee Roth. Sammy Hagar was already a legend when he replaced David Lee Roth. Plus, Dave had built the throne that then Sammy went and sat in already as a legend.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, that was a very strange time, and the fact that they were actually able to pull that off that way, that didn't get near as much as the Michael Anthony and Wolfgang thing, but we're gonna get all the way off on a tangent, and then
You're right. We'll be here for 6 hours.
Just 5 more minutes. Just 5 more minutes. Just one more. No. There's one left. All right, I'll be there in a minute.
He was a showman, David Lee Roth.
Yeah, he was a great showman.
Yeah.
And a psychologist of a psychologist of reading tens of thousands of people in the room with the blink of an eye. Mm-hmm. Eddie Van Halen, yes, the most important guitar player since Jimi Hendrix, without question. Absolutely.
Bravo.
Mm-hmm.
Steve Vai, brilliant guitar player, but he plays with his brain and his fingers. Eddie played with his heart and his balls. So it's the fire is hard to replicate. The riffs you can get, but it's the intensity of the fire.
You're preaching to the converted. I hear you. I know about. I'll tell you what. And again, I don't want to get off on the tangent because we're already. But I didn't like my love of Jimi Hendrix, and Hendrix is in my sweet spot in that place. My love of Hendrix was so devoted and so deep that when Stevie Ray Vaughan came out and even came close, I was a little insulted. You know?
Yeah, I know. Right, yeah.
And then Robin Trower, and finally, you get over that. But it's this is the guy who did that. You do something else. You know what I mean? Which Stevie did. Stevie did. They all did. But Robin Trower, the whole thing, it was like you can't. That he's gone and no one gets to stand there. So anyway,
you're right. Yeah. You're right. And to one slight other sidebar, that's exactly how I felt when I heard Motley Crue ripping off Cheap Trick and Stars. That's exactly how I felt when I saw Poison having top 10 hits with Rick Nielsen riffs. That's not talk dirty to me. That's She's Tight, motherfucker. I had to do that song with the drummer, and we got these jams in LA before the pandemic and stuff, and so it was Talk Dirty to Me and maybe Nothing But a Good Time. I don't remember what the other tune was, but you know, and so part of the thing is, particularly as you're playing with one of the main dudes that was in the band, you got to get the solo right, you know, out of respect for the everything.
Right.
So I definitely would go out of my way to make the solos perfect. But when I was learning CC DeVille's solos, I could learn them in 15 minutes. They were all Rick Nielsen riffs that I'd learned 25 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would not being a guitar player, I wouldn't really necessarily pick up on that, but wow, that's
If you're in a room with Rick Nielsen, I don't know. I mean, he may. I mean, he may know me. He may know me. I don't know, but he may. I wouldn't even want to postulate on that. But if you said, what guitar player has stolen more from you, Alex Kane, notwithstanding, it is CC DeVille. And when CC was still doing coke, he would go, to their credit, they would always take Cheap Trick out, because it's like, we would not be here if it wasn't for those four motherfuckers. So
that's got, you know, there's some respect there. That's, you know.
Yeah.
Well, other than the part that, like, so the Cheap Trick would finish their set, and then CC would go into Cheap Trick's dressing room when he was still using, and he would have his guitar on, standing in front of Rick, going, "And here's another one I ripped off you," and then I do the thing from Clock Strike, you know, or and I'm sure that Rick because actually, the Life, Sex, and Death album, which was my first signed band that I had, a Chicago band, we were as successful as we were as influential as we were not successful, and we were hugely not successful. But we were all Cheap Trick guys, right? And so one of the tunes had the word in it, the phrase rather, was the title of the song, "Schools for Fools." I met Rick when he was signed to Warner Brothers at the same time we were. We had one of these charity pool things, and I saw him, and I'm like, "Hey, it's Alex from Holland. I used to open up for you. We were managed by Ken Adamany. I got a new band called Life, Sex, and Death. We're both on Warner Brothers." And he was like, shitty Rick that day, right? Because there's good Rick and there's shitty Rick, you know, and he was drinking a lot and stuff back in those days, because it was the down slope, right? And his response, my hero, and his response is, "Oh, yeah, you guys have that song, Schools for Fools. You know, I used that in Hello Kitties." And I'm like, "Well, you are an influence." And I didn't have this tattoo yet. It's like my carte blanche. "Bro, what do you want?"
Wow. But that's all good, bro. That's all good, man. And you know, those are the things that keep us ticking and keep us kicking.
That's right.
So,
and the important thing is, and you will have encountered this before I will have, but I have, the minute you expect less of yourself, you're done.
Oh, I don't even know what that means. So
that's why I'm saying it.
I mean, believe me, you know what? Again,
that'll be when we're face to face somewhere, right?
Or around the bar.
Well, the viewers are saying that you should do a part 2 and come back.
Yeah, we should do a part 2. I'll have Angus put together part 2.
Yeah, they like you, and you would be great coming on Fridays, and they do. They want you back. They like you.
I will legitimately send you money if you can get Robin on, just so I can go, "I love you so much, I would do anything to be your friend." I'll send him some money too.
Well, you know what? All I can do
He'll know who I am, though. He will know. Robin will know who I am. Like you know what? Sorry, God, I keep doing this, and this will be what part 2's for, but this will be the last sidebar, I swear to God. At those jams I was telling you about, one night they invited Robin down, right? Again, I'd written songs for a solo album. I'd been managed by Ken Adamany, who used to be their manager in the band Holland. He'll definitely know the band Holland.
Yeah, because his daughter's name is Holland.
Right. And I don't know if there was any, because Tommy Holland, who was the singer for Holland, always took credit for that. "Well, yeah, Robin named his kid after my last name." So I don't know. But Tommy was amazing. And I'm not saying Tommy was, ironically, Tommy was Rod Stewart meets Robin Zander. He was like an amalgam of the two. It used to be when he was younger that he would walk into a room and you would know the energy in the room had changed. But it was drugs drugs just took him out. You know what I mean? He was too much.
They do it.
Yeah.
Listen.
He was too much in the whiff, but anyway, briefly, I'll try to make it brief anyway. So, and I'm like, hey, from Chicago, and like maybe he recognized the facial tattoos or whatever. So, but he knew that, like, all right, I got a buddy here. This guy's gonna, he's hanging, so he's all right. But at least I know I got a connection with somebody from my hometown, and we had a similar humor and blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so and in our initial conversation, I go, look, if they don't put you guys in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it is neither rock and roll nor a Hall of Fame. And he liked that a lot. And he responded with, and this is some kind of weird synchronistic thing, but he responds with, actually, we're going to find out tomorrow if we're in, right? So I'm like, dude came down to kill some fucking time, drink some beers, and this fucking dude was drinking beers this tall, man. And not only that, he only got cooler and chiller and funnier the drunker he got. Like, he wasn't like a shitty, mean drunk the way so many dudes are. He was just like super, like, I'm like, you are D'Artagnan of rock and roll, right? So anyway, I go and do one of my songs. I was going to come back and do one or two with him. I don't remember which, but at this point, we're talking and the flow's going, and I'm like, oh my God, this guy's fucking one of the literally one of the most legendary singers in rock and roll, literally, without question, right? And so I come off, and he's staring at his phone, like I told everybody backstage. That's backstage now. He's staring at his phone, and I'm like, what's going on? And he goes, we're in. I just got the text. Literally, as I was coming off stage, I bought the first record when it came out in 1976. I fell in love with that band. That band became more than a band to me. It became a metaphor for the lives we lead as musicians. You fight through the bad times to get back to the good times. And no matter what happens, you will have a life of interesting intrigue, regardless of where you fall on the fame spectrum. Nobody can take that shit away from you. Anyway, my whole life, all but the first 12 years on Cheap Trick, right? From the first album, and moments after he found out they were in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, I come up to him and I'm the first dude that talks to him. That's some weird synchronistic shit.
Sure,
it's
man.
Weird, right?
Yeah.
And
just for you. It's all just for you.
Yeah.
But again, I viewed it as like, all right, so Alex, you didn't end up as Rick Nielsen. You didn't end up as Slash. You didn't have that kind of fame or notoriety or financial compensation. But my bands have literally led to bands like literally Slipknot is Life, Sex, and Death is Slipknot's favorite band. Marilyn Manson's favorite band, he formed at a Life, Sex, and Death show. So, I mean, I have made a mark, right? Well, it's more like a bruise than a mark, but I viewed that as the universe saying, Alex, you don't know what lay ahead for you. Put your head down like your motherfucking heroes who now are in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Marky Ramone, I was like, dude, I can't wait till Cheap Trick gets in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame alongside you guys. And he goes, well, if they were going to get in, they would have been in by now. As soon as I had that conversation, when I found out from Sir Robin Zander, which was the thing I said, as soon as he said, oh my God, we're in, and you can ask him about this. Oh my God, we're in. And I look at him and I go, so I have to start calling you Sir Robin now. And he goes, yes. And I'm like, oh my God, this is so amazing. It was brilliant. But anyway, I'm sorry. Back to the topic at hand. What are your questions?
You ready? Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
We're going to get through this so fast, you're going to be annoyed. Go on.
All right, here we go. Favorite restaurant on the road? You're touring everywhere in the world, here and there, but when you're going back to Pakistan, I can't wait to eat at Bobo's Falafels. Favorite restaurant on the road?
Okay, I'm not gonna say one favorite because the restaurant that would be my favorite would not be part of a chain, but it would have certain characteristics in common. It would be in an interesting populated part of town, ideally with girls with tattoos and latex clothing, but you can't always count on that. But it would be it would be a vegan restaurant. It would be bohemian, and when you walk into a vegan restaurant, you never fear anything because there's never going to be some asshole doing bullshit because everybody that's in there is a tree hugger. Don't get me wrong, I may be a tree hugger, but I'm an armed tree hugger, which is the nice thing about Arizona. But I view shooting like I view yoga. I mean, they're very, very similar. It's kind of weird. Intention, focus, breathing, blah, 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 blah. So it would be vegan. It would be in an interesting bohemian part of town. Ideally, it would be near some kind of dispensary where I could just go get some weed, and it would be on a day off. I would be by myself. And at some point later on in the evening, I would run into one of the other guys in the band that I didn't know I was going to see wherever the fuck I ended up.
All right, well, so let me just give you a tip, okay? If you find the dispensary first, it doesn't matter where you eat, okay?
But that's why I want to find it after the food.
Right.
But then you got to go back. All right. Anyway, all right, moving right along. The set list comes out, and there it is. Your absolute favorite song to play live. Don't tell me, let me guess. What is that? Favorite song to play live?
Is that one of my songs, or is that just in general?
Anything. Favorite, like, oh, we're playing this, so it doesn't matter.
Okay, I'm going to say something involving one of my tunes.
Okay.
I had a band called Anti-Product in England. We actually invented fan funding. We were fan funding in 2000 when people were still referring to us as beggars. I just took out the middleman. I didn't call the band Anti-Product as a mistake, right? So we were also, it was a 5-piece, 3 girls, 2 dudes. It sounded like a cross, literally, I'm not making this up, a cross between Slayer and ABBA. I had 3-part major keyed vocal.
That would be Slabba, but go ahead.
Slabba.
Where were you when I needed you? It would
I was right here, just orbiting just miles over your head.
in the Millennium Falcon.
That's it.
Oh, he
Because
does
that would have been a much more succinct way of saying the thing, but it had like really heavy bone crushing riffs, right? You know, rock and roll heavy guitar riffs, but major keyed pop melodies. So again, I mean, if you took Cheap Trick and Queen, the Beach Boys, Slayer, Metallica, kind of hybridized it.
I got
We
you.
had a song called "Bungee Jumping People Die," which and it was a statement on irony. When I was actually living in Florida, playing with Matt Kramer from Saigon Kick, whom you may have heard of.
Mhm.
So and me and Matt are still like fucking like. I'm just glad we're not gay because it would make the relationship really weird.
That would
But
be tough, yeah.
he's the brother I never had. I love Matt so much and such an amazing singer, brilliant singer. I wrote it while we were jogging one day, and it has that kind of tempo. I'm really, really proud of it, and it's really, really weird. And it's sort of in England and Japan where Anti-Product did some business. It's a respected piece of work because
Cool.
it is artistic, but it also kicks your fucking ass and makes you want to have sex. So it's kind of the best of both worlds.
Okay, always a good
We
song.
need to hear that.
Always, yeah. We'll have to play that next time.
Bungee Jumping People Die. It's on YouTube. Yeah, no, I'm super proud of it. I did a good job on that song. Yeah.
Cool, good. That's that's great. It's going in the book, and there you go. But now the set list comes out, and holy shit, I don't ever want to play this song again. How could this be on the least favorite song to play?
Surrender.
Surrender.
Yeah, only because largely, like, even when I see Rick playing Surrender, he's like, oh my God, okay, let's fucking do it, I guess. You know, it's not the song, I'd still love the We're All Right part because I feel that. But other than that, I kind of think that they're like, all right, well, we got to do Surrender, but I would much rather be doing Way of the World or whatever.
Is that the one where we did the windmills? Where Mark and I we used to do the windmills?
What, on Surrender?
No, we did a song with
I
Xander.
think that's Mommy's All Right.
That's Surrender.
That's Surrender,
yeah, that's right. Yeah, okay. Yep, they used to do that.
We used to do this thing. I used to do what I called an airplane spinner. We ba 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 ba.
Oh, on the cymbal?
Yeah.
Right? And the guitar player is doing windmills, and he comes over to my drum set and he said, I almost just passed out. Don't do that anymore. But yeah, we used to do that song. I liked playing, and here I go, I liked playing Dream Police because of the fusion bits in the middle.
The bridge.
Great frickin' jazz. And the
With
funny
the bars
thing
of
is-
5 in there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to laugh, if you want to have a laugh, go look for the Robin Zander Band at BB King's sound check
Party.
He has me doing I'm wide awake. They go, and I didn't know it, right? And
He's teaching it to him.
he's teaching it to me on stage. You'll laugh your ass off. He's wearing this coonskin cap like Davy Crockett. It's a hysterical video.
Yeah.
But anyway, so okay, Surrender. We'll put that one down. Now here's a good one. This is
out of respect for them, you know.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh, hey, listen, I'm not that big a fan of playing that song either. So, but when asked, we play.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fuck yeah, you do.
Okay.
We're
If you
service
could, now,
provider.
here, this is the only kind of serious musician question. If you could play any instrument on the planet, ice bell, timpani, glockenspiel, and absolutely Eddie Van Halen or Jimi Hendrix it to death, but not guitar,
Piano.
what would it be? Piano.
Piano. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Most
Absolutely.
guitar players say piano.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've got a keyboard right that we're in my studio now, and I got a keyboard right down here. I find the inversions and the note clusters that you can make sound good on a piano. You can learn from that and apply it to guitar as far as like tension release and suspending chords and all the things that. And you can play two notes that are literally right next to each other and they sound beautiful together. Whereas if you do it on a guitar, 8 out of 10 times it's going to sound like.
It sounds like the beginning of Freeway Jam. Bam, 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 bam.
Yeah, right, exactly, but not good.
No, not good.
Yeah, but not good. But yeah, no, it would be. I definitely. I just picked the thing up, and it was to finally force myself to learn new. We always learn something. We always do.
That's what it is. You know,
that's
we're learning till we're burning, bro. That's it.
And when you stop learning, you're fucking. When you stop learning, you're done and you're useless to the audience.
That's it.
That's
We get to have these charmed lives where we get to pretend that the things that we say and the things that we feel actually mean something. Now, we're just pretenders, but to the people that don't have the ability to live in this bubble of our Peter Pan essence and be creative and do as we please and look as we please, we owe them because they've allowed us to go live these amazing lives. Okay, I am not a millionaire, but I've gotten to see the sun rise over the Acropolis in Greece because I play rock and roll guitar. And I'm like, you can't pay for this. You can only...
I hear you. Listen, bro, I was in a hash tent in the land of the midnight sun in Karlshamn, Sweden, and I know what rare sights are. I know what, like, I've been there, so I get it. I mean,
and we get to, and then from all of these experiences that our lives inform and continue to evolve, we, like Han Solo, need to bring that information back to the people that do have the 2.5 kids and the brutal fucking mortgage and the grind, you know what I mean? And
why
it's
we do this show, man. That's why I do this show, so that they can, for an hour or an hour and 25 minutes, they can live it and understand it. Because the truth is, to actually do what we do, you have to be wired the way we're wired.
or you don't. Yeah.
And you can't try to do it, or you can't think this might be cool. You don't have a choice. It's like
All or nothing.
it's like being born a junkie for something, you know. And that's
Yeah.
just the way it is. And without it, you'll perish. So, you know, that's the nice part about this show and talking to guys like you and having these conversations is you get to share the reality of it that you really don't get to live unless you live it. You know,
Yeah.
you can't believe what you read in Circus magazine or whatever it is.
Or the dirt, for that matter.
Yeah. And, you know, so this is the real thing. This is real guys living the real thing. And now, nice segue. For the big question, if you could play one live show with anybody or any group of guys, living or dead, who would it be?
Hang on, let me think. Oh, geez, I don't know.
Yeah, but I have a question about your answer.
Absolutely, Cheap Trick.
Okay, who would be playing drums?
You.
Oh, God. Well, I'm flattered, but no, I meant Dax or Buddy.
Oh.
I think you go for it.
I've played with Dax, and I are actually buddies, and I've played with him several times, and he is a great drummer, and as the thing with younger guys is there's a handful of drummers that still got that fucking thing. And it's Bunny Carlos, it's Brad Elvis, it's Clem Burke. I'm going to assume
Oh,
it's
Clem
you,
Burke, yeah.
where you just got that fucking pocket that it's not about how much you're playing, it's about the space in between the hits. And that's where the sex and the drama and everything come in, and dude, I'm not blowing smoke because I don't give a fucking shit. We don't know each other.
Right.
But if the guy on behind the cans ain't fucking happening, nothing's happening. Right?
No, I hear you. And the only thing that is worse than that is if you have a great drummer and a crap bass player.
Oh yeah, and then you're in the open naked fuck.
Right, and believe me, time is not just a magazine, guys. But you know that's what
Yeah.
it is. So.
Well, let me
And
tell you,
I-
people are loving you
We've
so
got
much.
questions. We have questions from
No,
the.
this is just a comment from
Oh, just-
Anton. He said, Steve, please have Alex back for part 2, 3, and 4. Harry.
Let's just do a marathon, Jerry Lewis. Come
We
on,
already, we already did the first half of part 2. No,
All right, you have to
No,
come back.
it's
That's
all
there
good. No,
is
you
to
got to
it.
come in on a Friday, and we will. We'll do this again because
Yeah.
now we have a, you know, it's nice because we have like a basis to grow the
Yeah.
conversation. I love doing.
The
You know,
ice has been
the
broken. You guys are friendly, and it'll be very.
the ice has
Yeah,
been.
you seem okay, right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Listen, I have my moments, you know. Listen, I'm
We all
living
do.
You're
it
a
just,
funny fucker.
you know, it's, you know what?
Yeah,
we're-
but you're biased. Jill, is it?
no, Lori.
Lori.
But you were
Lori.
close.
Oh, that's right. Sorry. No, that's my PTSD.
Right.
Lori. I gotta say it's probably speaking out of turn, but I love your guys' relationship, and I love that after you've been together and you're experiencing life together, and you still do fun stuff like Friends together, and that's beautiful.
Oh, yeah,
I
we're
love
That's
that.
the bit. Well, we were friends for 5 years before we got together, and
right.
we got together because she was broken up with her boyfriend. I was broken up with my girlfriend. She happened to come to New York, came to my house to spend the night, and she's
Not
still
with
here
them, with
40
the-
years
Happened.
later.
What are you doing at my doorstep? I don't know. I thought I was lost.
Something like that. Man, listen, you know what? That's how the best things happen. And this, you know, for
I gotta
me,
tell you, the people
this
are
is,
loving you.
yeah.
Fantastic
So yeah, man,
show,
Alex,
guest
we
tonight.
got to pick it up again. You know,
Yeah.
we'll have to do it again.
And I absolutely will. And I just so I can say this in front of everybody, I view the job that we do as we are service providers. And anytime anybody sees me play, the person that's on stage is vastly different from the person you're talking to, but that's only because I want anybody, if it's 40 people or 40,000 people, I want everybody in that room to know I'm just up here giving it my all so I can say thank you and leave an impression to let you know I need you to respect me because I am so grateful you didn't stay at home and watch Netflix and eat Doritos, but you came down to the fucking rock and roll show. You got sweaty with us, and there's no difference between me and a plumber. At a plumber's convention, I am the biggest beta male there is, you know what I mean? So we're all on an even thing, and I can't live without a plumber, and some people can't live without rock and roll guitar
You
players.
gotta have all the pieces on the chessboard to have a game.
You gotta have them all, man. Absolutely.
all.
And so thank you to anybody who's being kind right now or has in the past and allowed us to lead these challenging, certainly, but truly unique lives.
You think it's any less challenging to be Tom Brady, bro, man? I mean, you want to deal with that shit? No, you know.
Well, I don't know that it's not on par. I mean, because like who are the champions of rock and roll? It's the Stones and Cheap Trick and Alice Cooper and everybody that we've been talking about. And fucking Mick Jagger's pushing 80 years old, right?
That's amazing to me.
He's seen
the sunrise above the Acropolis.
He's seen 60 years of 22-year-olds thinking they were going to challenge the OG, but it didn't fucking happen. And it's still Mick and Keith up there, and it's still Joe and Steve up there, and it's still Rick and Robin up there. You know what I mean? And it's the people the people that set not the rules, but the paradigm for what rock and
roll. Reset the rules.
And here they are at 80 years old, once again setting the rules. And so dudes like me at 57, I realize now everybody gets one free chance at being young and beautiful. It's a given. Here's your one free chance. What do you do after that, motherfucker? That determines who you are. And the guys that we're talking about, and yourself as well. And here I am, 57, and I'm still going. And I'll take a whole bunch of motherfuckers off stage like they didn't even know what the fuck they were doing. And that's not ego. That's pride in the craftsmanship.
Hey, man, I heard that was my
delivering for the audience, you know?
I'm telling you, believe me, it's a gunfight, bro, and I'll see you out of the street. That's what it is.
Exactly. And anytime I go on tour, and like if I'm in the headline band or if I'm in the support band, whatever, I always say to the support band, I go, dude, if you don't try to fucking blow me off stage, I'm going to make you look so bad every single fucking night. And so the 25-year-old is like, are you serious, old man? And I'm like, damn fucking straight. Do I look like I'm telling you jokes? You get out there and you make me look like shit so I can come up after you and clean the stage with your sorry fucking ass.
There it is. All right.
And then I know that the people that didn't watch Netflix were like, oh my God, that was like a fucking gunfight with a cool beat.
Yeah, only it's not at noon, it's at midnight.
It's at midnight, right? Exactly. Bye.
Right back at you. All right, listen, I'm going to bail. I hope we'll see you Friday, and this was a trip, man.
Same time, same
whenever they run this long, it's usually because they're good and we need another episode.
If I could get a link to the Friday one, and I'm taking care of Mom and stuff, so it may be a little bit, but if
believe me, I'll have my Aunt Angus will take care of you.
And our dog lovers are saying to give Bear fish oil.
Fish oil.
Yeah.
Yeah, except that he gets diarrhea. I've tried that.
So then swimming.
Yeah, swimming. I'm telling
But
you,
swimming,
it'll blow
absolutely.
your mind. It will
Yep.
blow your mind.
Well,
Getting
when
those
when
vests.
we are officially actually really done, I am going to go right on Amazon and I am going to get that vest because I've literally been thinking about that for like the last 2-3 weeks where I'm like,
Yeah,
And
it's got
It's
the handle
man,
on the
it's the
back.
best.
so you
It's
can hold it in
really,
place.
it's awesome, and he's sizable, so you'll love it. It's going to be great, and
Yeah.
and it'll
oh,
do him a
okay,
world
I'm
of
going to do
good.
that.
So
Hey,
we'll be
and,
checking in on him.
And please say hello to Mr. Sir Robin Zander from me.
Oh,
if you would.
I absolutely will.
And now I will. I've decided. I
High
got
royalness,
right, exactly now.
High royalness.
his high royalness. Yeah. All right, dude. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, come
All right,
in
thank you very
Friday,
much,
Alex.
guys. Have a
All
good
right.
weekend,
Thanks for being
everybody.
here. Take care, Alex. We'll see you.
Bye.
Talk to you later. Bye.
What the hell was that?
Yeah.
Hey, man, frickin' Alex.
Everybody loved Alex.
Yeah, well,
He was funny.
he was great.
Anton said, "I'm laughing my ass off so much that I now need a new ass."
That you need, yeah, you have no ass left. I know. No, it's great, and
He
you know
was.
that's the thing about it is, and I say it all the time, and I'm not going to go on for another 25 minutes, otherwise we're But those are the guys that
Yeah.
are the heart and soul of this business. Guys that are mindlessly committed. It isn't even committed. That involves a choice. There's no choice. We don't have a choice. He doesn't have a choice.
Frank
He has
says-
to make everything else in his life work to feed the choice that he never got to. I mean, if you do this,
Yep. And Frank says, "He said, oh gee."
yeah, he did say OG.
That's right.
He
And
did.
Frank, you're our Mr. OG.
Yeah, OG.
Yes.
We're coming, OG. No,
Tomorrow
no,
night,
no, no.
Wednesday, if we
Yes.
have power and don't lose it.
Yeah, if we don't
it's
have power,
anything goes.
yeah, it's anything goes,
Wednesday.
and I'll get some. I'll have some. It depends, If
No, he doesn't have depends.
I don't have depends. No,
He
no,
doesn't
no, no.
need depends.
No,
Okay.
no. So there you
So-
go. So that's about all there is to it.
Time for some shrimp scampi.
Oh, shrimp scampi.
That's right. And he liked those sugar cookies I made from scratch.
Wow,
Oh,
guys.
Gail just said, how were the sugar cookies?
I thought I was gonna puke.
He said that, but you said they were the best
They
batch
were.
I've
It
ever
was
made.
awesome, and chicken broccoli.
He just
bake-
ate a lot of them.
Yeah, they just kept coming out, and it was like it was like a Disney movie.
Well, I made a lot of them, but
Yes,
we have
you
some
did.
leftovers.
We have some left, right?
That's right.
Okay. Well, listen.
Okay.
On that happy note, kids.
We hope we see you tomorrow.
Yeah, we hope we see
Fingers
you
crossed that
tomorrow.
we keep the power.
No, please.
Keep the
Power to
power.
the people.
Right
If I don't see you in
on.
the future, I'll see you in the pasture.
Good night, everybody.
Take care, kids.